So in this class, guys, we focus a lot on how you approach a question rather than simply doing some stupidities at all. So last class, what exactly we did was, last class, we majorly focused on, there were two types of question. First is S type, and the other is what type. But please understand there are two structures of questions. So when you actually solve a question, you should have everything in your head. Our first job is to understand what exactly is the question. Simply going and solving will not help at all. So there are usually two structures of questions that are asked in the exam. First is a direct questions, where there is no information given at all, like the question number 1 that we did in the last class. Second is when some information is given to you in the question. So please understand here, when some information is given to you in the question, this is not to beautify the question at all, right? We need to learn how should we use this information while we are solving a question. So the approach of question is extremely clear to you. Trust me, it does not matter at all that you are solving question right or wrong. Eventually, you will start solving it right for sure. But when you are trying to do the questions by yourself, please ensure you will 100% not look into solution anywhere. Just think whatever we can think. So question number 1 was done in the last class, right? Can we go ahead and do question number 3? Now, this is again a question where we can't do it without taking numbers. You will have to take numbers. I'll try my best to solve 90% of questions algebraically, that I promise you. But there are some questions where we can't do anything at all except we take numbers. So in question number 3, now look into the structure of, first of all, this is a S type of a problem. And then there is a bit of information that is given to you. You need to 100% understand how you use this information to solve the questions. So can you please take 2 minutes and try doing this? Even if you have done, doesn't matter at all. Hi, Abhishek. Can you hear me? Hi, Abhishek. Can you hear me?
Yes, Rahul, I can hear you.
Question number 3, Abhishek. Please take 2 minutes. Tell the answer and then we'll discuss.
Rahul, it's E.
E. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I solved it algebraically.
What exactly did you do? Achha, give us 1 minute, Ulash, and then let other people say the answer and then we'll discuss.
Okay. Okay.
Abhishek, Akansha, Harendra, Jay, tell the answers, please. You won't have so much of time. Manan.
Yeah, I got it.
E. Shrisha?
Yeah, E.
Okay. Anyone, any other answers? Harendra, what's the answer? Abhishek.
Let's see.
Yes, Rahul, I think it's C.
C. Okay. Perfect. So, Lash, tell me exactly how did you do it?
Yeah.
How
so
you
I
attempted
took,
algebraically?
yeah, I took the one on the other side. So
Yeah,
the
that's
equation
fine.
becomes x minus y by x plus
Minus y
y.
x over by minus 1 greater than 0, right?
And I solved it. It becomes minus 2y by x plus y less than
No,
0.
it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Minus 2y by x plus y greater than 0. That is 2y by x plus y less than 0.
Yeah, then numbers have to be taken.
Absolutely. 100% took the number now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's exactly
Now,
the same thing. Either you directly go ahead with the questions or you do this. But this understanding will only come when you approach it in a bit different way. You can actually do -1, both the sides. In fact, that will be exactly the same thing that you have done. But it's fine. This is a question where we can 100% go ahead and directly approach also. So before we get into the question, please understand what's the information that is given to you, that x is not equal to -y. This simple means that x plus y is not equal to 0. So they have explicitly given to you this information where you need to understand that if you take x as 5, you can't take y as -5. Simple logic. Is that very clear? Now the question is x minus y over x plus y greater than 1? First of all, guys, a lot of people does what? They just cross multiply this and try and change the question. But I have told you very clearly right in the first class that until it is not explicitly mentioned to you in the question, that variable x and y are positive, you can't cross multiply. You should 100% know right from the question that x plus y is 100% positive, only then you will be able to cross multiply, else you should not. So this is a normal question that we have. Option number 1 says me x is greater than 0. I can straight away say no idea about y. So not sufficient. Option number 2 says y is less than 0. I can say straight away no idea about x, not sufficient. But again, I have told you, if it's a S type, these are the thing that you can say when you do this question in exam, not right now. When it's a S type of a question, if you try and say any statement is not sufficient, you should give me a very clear cut yes or no situation. Simple logic. So imagine if I take option number 1, x is greater than 0. Let's say x is equal to, we take 10 and y is equal to, y I can take anything because from option number 1, we have no idea about y. Take y is equal to 5. So 10 minus 5 is how much? 5 by 15 is equal to 1 by 3. That is less than 1. I have a no situation. Very clear. Imagine I take a value x is equal to 10 and y is equal to -5. Now what does that give me? 10 minus of -5, 15 by 5, that is equal to 3, which is greater than 1. So it's a yes situation. If I have a yes and no situation, I can straight away say this statement is not sufficient. Is that very clear? Anyone, any doubt? And the same way, I can 100% say y is less than 0, no idea about x. This is not sufficient, but please ensure that you get a yes and no situation to say this is not sufficient. Don't simply say no idea about x and no, please. Now imagine this, you do it in your homework. Imagine now we are trying to combine it. Simple logic. Now on combination part, I know that x is greater than 0 and y is less than 0. I can 100% take one situation as this. X is greater than 0, y is less than 0. I have a yes situation. Now you have to give me a no situation. So in last class, what I have said you that whenever you take a number, question should 100% be in your head. You cannot take some random numbers. Be very sure about it. You just can't afford to take any sorts of a random number. It says what? Now imagine, and the whole point about you saying that question should be in your head, simple means that how should your number behave with respect to question? That behavior should be very much understood to you. That's a place where you can take ultimately 1000 sets of a number and you will get a yes and no situation. Randomly, if you perform, you may 100% get a yes and no situation, but you should not try and do anything random. Now imagine if I take x positive. If I take x positive, take any number, and y negative, I have taken -5. If I take x positive and y negative, don't you feel my numerator will always add up? Please tell me. Will it always add up? Yes or no? If you take x positive and y negative, 100% it will always add up. So I should not even bother about numerator at all. My entire job is to look into denominator, how precisely you can think about denominator part. Imagine if I take x10 and if I take y a negative value, but imagine I take the magnitude of y greater than the value of x. I take a magnitude of y -20. Now I know my numerator will add up. It is 30 in the numerator and denominator is what? 10 minus 20 is -10, which is less than 1. I have a no situation. That's it. So this is not sufficient. A is not sufficient, B is not sufficient, C is not sufficient. The answer goes to E. Is that very clear? Anyone, any doubts? Shreya, is this clear? Akansha?
Yes. Clear.
Yes.
Abhishek, Jay, Manan,
Yes, Rahul.
any problem, Manan?
Yes.
Yeah, can you explain this again?
Yeah, I have just created a yes and no situation, Manan. Tell me which part is not understandable to you.
The no situation, like yes part I understood.
So no situation may, Manan, you just have to understand how the questions would behave with your number. The point is you can take randomly any number and you may get a no situation for sure. But that is not something that we are here to perform. We we should ensure that take a number in such a way where there could be 100 set of a number that you can instantly take it. So imagine, Manan, if I take x positive and y negative, will my numerator add up or not? Numerator, think about numerator, x minus y. If you take any x as a positive number and y as a negative number, any number you take, and if you put into x minus y, will this add up, yes or no?
Yeah.
Agreed, right? Imagine you take x as 10, y is negative 20. So negative of negative 20, this becomes 30. Agreed?
Mm-hmm.
Out here, Manan?
Yeah.
But imagine in denominator. Yes, please tell me.
No, I was just saying another case to prove no would be to take, you can take both negative
No,
numbers.
you
as well.
can't take both negative number because option number 1 says x is positive. You have to do. You can't.
You're
You can't.
combining. Okay.
Even in combining, Shrisha, x is positive, y is negative.
No, only for combining. But if you're only evaluating option number 2, then you can take both.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Option number 2, 100%. So Manan, when the numerator will add up, but look for the denominator, Manan. Denominator says what? X plus y, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if I take x is equal to 10, Manan, and y is equal to minus 20. I'll take the minus, I have to take negative number of y, but I'll take the magnitude of y should be greater than 10. Imagine if you have taken x as 10, take y as minus 11 also, doesn't matter at all. Your numerator will do what, Manan? It will add up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And denominator would be what? 10 minus 11. 10 minus 11 is what? Negative 1?
Yeah.
So 30 by negative 1 has to, a negative number will surely be less than 1, Manan.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed?
Yeah, okay.
So this is how you should be taking numbers, man. You cannot afford to take some random value, because if you place random values, 100% you will get a yes or no situation, but that will not strike at one moment of time. But you might get, you might not get. So the whole point is when you take numbers, you should understand how your number should behave with the question. That's simple logic. And take some 3-4 sets of a number. When you are doing it in home, there is no time constraint at all. Please ensure that give as much time as you can. I'm ready. It is 100% acceptable that for one question you give 1 hour also, it's absolutely fine. Don't at all worry about timing. Timing by default would be taken care of at the later stage. Right now, we should not bother about timing at all. Right now, our entire concentration should be that have you got a very clear cut yes and no situation, because it's S type of a question, Manan. If you try and say anything not sufficient to me, you must have a yes or no situation. Only then you can say, right? Because the purpose of solving S type of a data sufficiency is what? To create a yes and no situation. Agreed? I hope any doubt? Shreya, is this clear?
Yes, Rahul.
Perfect. Now can we come down to question number 8, please? I'll solve all the questions. Don't worry at all. Question number 8, please. Take 1 minute for this, not more than this. And write your answers in chat or speak it up. No issues. You should just learn how to solve question. That's it. Karendra A, okay. Makansha A. Ulash Abhishek, please give your answer. Shreya, none. I promise you, if you spend time solving questions in your home, by default, everything will be done in 2 minutes. Perfect. Jay, Manan, tell the answer. Fast, please. Okay. Perfect. Now let's look into this question. This question simple says you, again, this is a type of a problem, first of all. And Shrisha, wrong. See here. It's a type of a problem. And there's a bit of information that is given to you that k is not equal to 0, 1, and -1. It's simple means that when you are taking this question, they have restricted you. These are the values that you can't imagine. Now imagine, let's understand the question first. So this is a type, this is a is type of a problem. There's a bit of information given to us. And this information, we can 100% consider these question as a direct question. These are the information that's not that useful. Because they have just told you that what if at all you are trying to think about numbers and all, don't take these numbers. Now the point is, question is what? Is 1 over k greater than 0? Once you have understood the question, our job is to understand. Once we have understood the information, our job is to also understand the question. Question says what is 1 over k greater than 0? Now, can you tell me when is this condition possible? Anyone?
When k is positive,
Brilliant, because a by b greater than 0 means what?
a and b are of both of same
Same
sign.
sign. Absolutely. So if 1 is positive, now is 1 over k greater than 0? For this condition to hold true, k should be greater than 0, right? Can I now think my question itself is k greater than 0? Because what we need to do is that based on our own convenience, we need to ensure that play around as much as you can with the question. Because if I prove k is greater than 0, this statement by default is taken care of or not? Think about it. I don't even have to think about 1 by k greater than 0. My new question is k greater than 0? Because if I can prove this, 1 by k by default would be greater than 0. So for my own convenience, my question becomes is k greater than 0? That's it. Now I have two statements front of us. Option number 1 says what? 1 over k minus 1 is greater than 0. What I have told you, statements are always absolute. You cannot challenge the statement at all. They are asking you a question, is 1 over k greater than 0? How are they asking you a question? They have given you 1 over k minus 1 is greater than 0. Now with this particular information, can you actually prove this question? Simple logic. Now my new question is k greater than 0? Imagine 1 over k minus 1 is greater than 0. This is given to me in the question. Now for this condition to hold true, when is this condition possible? Only when k minus 1 is greater than 0. That is k is greater than 1. If k is, option number 1 says me this entire condition is only possible when k is greater than 1. So option number simple gives me k is greater than 1. If k is greater than 1, it is definitely greater than 0. Sufficient.
Rahul, can k for 1 by k to be greater than 0, can k also be equal to a fraction?
Anything, doesn't matter at all. It should be just positive. A fraction a by b greater than 0 means what? That sign of a and b should be same, Shrisha.
Positive, yeah, yeah.
Now that
I mean,
sign could be in terms of a fraction or in terms of an integer, doesn't matter to us at all.
okay.
Agreed? Option number 2 says what? 1 over k plus 1 is greater than 0. Now this particular information is given to you. Now again, I have told you this is a statement. The statements are absolute. When is this information possible? Only when k plus 1 is greater than 0. It means k is greater than negative 1. If k is greater than negative 1, k can be negative half. My question is what? Is k greater than 0 when k is negative half? It's a no situation. And k can also be equal to 2, 3, 4, 20 number till infinity. It's a yes situation. So this is not sufficient. Is this clear, Srisha? The answer to this question is A. But imagine if there's a bit of change in the question. Question says, if k is an integer, if k is integer, and k is not equal to 0, 1, and minus 1, your answer in that case would become D. So guys, read questions very carefully. There's one change in the question statement and the answer can vary. Because option number 2 says what? K is greater than negative 1. Question says k is an integer. And then the question says k is not equal to 0, 1, and minus 1. So in that case, if k is greater than negative 1, the only value k can take is from 2, 3, 4 to infinity. I hope it's agreed. So if there is information given to in this question that if k is an integer and k is not equal to 0, 1, minus 1, is 1 by k greater than 0? Answer to this question would be D with these two statements. I hope it's clear. Any doubt? Perfect. Now come down to question number 11. One of my favorite question. Very beautiful question. But think, please. Do think. Simply don't solve it. Take 2 minutes. No issues at all in this question. What the answer?
E, Rahul.
E. Okay,
C.
perfect. Other answers, please. Shreya, E. C. Ulash. Harendra, yours is E, right?
Yes.
Manan, Abhishek,
Yes, Rahul, it's E.
E. How come? So this is a place where a problem comes as to how you combine the statements. So see here, the question is type of a question, is X and Y positive? You just have to prove is X greater than 0 and Y greater than 0. There is absolutely no information given to you. Pretty direct question. So there's nothing too much understand in the question. My question is simple. Is X greater than 0? Is Y greater than 0? Option number 1 says me what? 2X minus 2Y is equal to 1. So it means X minus Y is equal to half. Let's say X is equal to 1, Y is equal to half. I'll get half. X and Y both positive. If I take X as minus half, Y as minus of 1, I'll still get half. X and Y both negative. So straight away not sufficient. I have a yes situation. I have a no situation. Agreed? Any doubt? Now come down to statement number 2. It says X over Y greater than 1. So I've told you a fraction is greater than 1 in which cases we'll have to the point is ki X over Y is greater than 1. Simple means ki X over Y is a positive number. It simple means ki X and Y are of same sign, but it comes with some sort of a cases. In case of if it is greater than 1. So there are two cases. Case 1, if X and Y are positive. And for a fraction X over Y to be greater than 1, X should be greater than Y. Agreed? Sure. Case 2, if X and Y are negative. Then for a fraction X over Y to be greater than 1, can I say X is less than Y? Is this understood? Tell me. Because if X and Y are positive, a fraction would be greater than 1 in which case? When numerator is greater than denominator, when they are positive. In case when X and Y are negative, a fraction X over Y would be greater than 1 in which case? In case when numerator is less than denominator, because minus 10 by minus 5 is greater than 0, greater than 1, right? So minus 10 is less than minus 5. So simple logic. And this should be understood because we are not talking about a positive value. We are not talking ki a fraction is positive when a fraction is positive and sign of X and Y are same. We have brought us additional case X greater, a fraction greater than 1. So in case of a positive number, you can't say 1 by 2 is greater than 1. That's crap. A fraction can be only greater than 1 when numerator is greater than denominator. Simple logic. So that's what we have put it over here. 1 second. Hi, Gauri. 1 second. I think she's back from hospital. Hi, Gauri. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
All okay, right?
Yes, all okay.
Perfect. If you have some issues, you can 100% take rest.
No, I'd like to do the class.
Sure.
All right. How much have I missed?
You have missed 3 questions. That's it.
All right.
So a fraction is greater than, so option number 2 is this understood that it's not sufficient because X and Y are positive also, X and Y are negative also, have a yes and no situation. Manan, Abhishek, is this clear? Shreya?
Yes, Rahul.
Yes.
Perfect. Now see, how do we combine? Please understand, we are trying to combine 2 statements. Now there is a different ways to combine. You can combine this question just by looking into it. If at all, you can get very deep into it, or you will. The point is, tell me one thing. How do you combine 2 equations? I have told you in the last class, because we have to learn the combination part in data sufficiency. That's very important. I'm just telling you a general rule that if you are trying to combine 2 equations, you can do nothing except solving it. Always remember 2 equations and 2 statements in data sufficiency. And if those statements are in form of some equations, the combination of those 2 statements will be solving those equations. That's it. Here we don't have a much of a stuff. Here we have 1 equation in option number 1, 1 equation in option number 2. So let's look into this. How can we combine this statement? We can combine this without even touching pen and paper. Now tell me one thing. I know that option number 1 is not sufficient. I know that X minus Y is equal to half. Can I say X is equal to Y plus half from option number 1? What can you conclude from this statement? tell me one thing. What can you conclude from this statement?
That if y would be positive, x would obviously be positive.
Oh, that would not be the conclusion. Give me a very generalized conclusion, Ulash. What do you think x is equal to y plus half means what? In terms of x and y, what should be your conclusion? I know that statement number 1 is not sufficient, but I'm doing this just for combination part.
X is greater than Y?
Absolutely. So at this place, Ulash, you take any value of y, doesn't matter at all. You take any value of positive value of y or any negative value of y, it doesn't matter at all. Can I say x is greater than y by half? So
Yes.
if you take y is equal to 10, x is 10 and half. If you take y is equal to 20, x is 20 and half. If you take y is equal to minus 1, x is minus half. I can 100% conclude x is greater than y in all the cases. Whatever value of y you take, it doesn't matter at all. Can we conclude this, guys? Please tell. Anyone not understood, Manan? Is this clear?
Yeah.
Harendra?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now see here, option number 1 says x is greater than y. And option number 2, what we have? X greater than y also we had, x less than y also we had. Straight away combination part is what? X greater than y, common term out. And for x greater than y, x and y are positive. You don't have to touch pen and paper and you can mark answer C. In case if this is not something which you get initially, so what we can do? Imagine this is something that you could not get it. And it may happen in the first time, it's hard.
Rahul, could you
Yeah.
please repeat the last line? I just simply didn't get it.
Option number 1 says what? X greater than y.
Okay.
Agreed?
Yeah.
Option number 2, we have 2 cases. And what are the cases? X is greater than y also, x is less than y also.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm trying to combine both the statement, what can I say? X greater than y, common term out. And for x greater than y, x and y are positive. So see. Because now I'm trying to combine. Option number 1 says x is greater than y. Option number 2 says x could be greater than y or x could be less than y. But if I want to satisfy both the statements, so my common term would be x greater than y, right? Agreed or not?
It is a common term you're saying in both the
Common term,
statements.
yeah, common term is I'm just trying to say, you can imagine here x is equal to 2. Here you get x is equal to 2 or 10, imagine. So
Mm.
can I say x is equal to 2 common term out? When combination part will give me what? X is equal to 2,
Okay. Mhm.
right? Now imagine here you get x is equal to 2 and 4. Here you get x is equal to 2 or 10. So combination would be what? X is equal to 2 and x is equal to 2 is such a value which will satisfy statement number 1 and 2 both. So this is common term out, right?
Okay.
So I'll have, if I combine this statement where option number 1 says me x is equal to 2 or 4. Option number 2 says me x is equal to 2 or 10. So if I combine this statement, will I get x is equal to 2? Think about it. Agreed? Abhishek?
Yes, Ram.
So imagine if this is something which you didn't understand. So what exactly, what I have told you? These are the 2 equations and combination of those 2 equations is what? Solving those 2 equations. That's it. Nothing else at all. Now I know option number 1 is not sufficient because x and y can be positive, x and y can be negative. I know option number 2 is not sufficient because x and y could be positive, x and y could be negative. So not sufficient. Now I'm trying to combine and you don't know the logic. You don't know, imagine you don't know x is greater than y. Then how do I do? I simply put the value of x. X is equal to what? Y plus half. I put the value of x from 1 to 2. Let's see what I get. So I get y plus half over y greater than 1. Agreed? That is y over y plus half y greater than 1. Y over y, if you cancels out, it is 1. And 1 cancels. So what I get is 1 over 2y greater than 0. When is this condition possible? Only when y is greater than 0. Right? And now when is option, I know that y is greater than 0. I know from option number 2, x over y is greater than 1. X has to be greater than 0 for sure. So this is the solving of 2 equations, or either you visualize it, it's all up to you. Shreya, Manan, clear? Any problem?
No.
No,
Arun, Ulash,
Yeah.
is this clear?
Rahul, just one thing.
Yes,
Like
Rahul.
basically,
Yeah.
when what we do is when we combine the 2 statements,
Hmm.
like you said in previous class also, you can either add them or subtract them, right?
Yeah.
So I
Well,
got,
whatever is the equation,
while-
as in here
but
it is equal
you
to
cannot
sign.
add, yeah, that's the problem.
here
There
it
is
is
one
a-
inequality sign and
And
one
one
equals
is
to.
one equal to sign. So I'll just put the
Yeah.
value of one to that. That's it. I
Okay.
can't add and subtract here.
Absolutely. So, okay.
Agreed?
Okay.
Perfect. Now let's come down to a type of a question which conceptually clears you everything of how the inequality as a question should be approached. But please ensure that always keep in your mind two things for sure, that before you go and approach some question, understand it's a S type of a question, what type of a question, do understand what is the structure of a question. So guys, question number 35. If we do by inequality, it's gonna take you easily 5 to 10 minutes. And if you use a concept of weighted average in this question, it takes you hardly 20 seconds. So I have put this question in statistics also. We'll discuss it with the weighted average. For inequalities, it will simply go a lot. It'll do a lot of stuff. With if you use weighted average at this question, it will take you hardly 20 seconds because concept of weighted average is very, very important. Weighted average is one concept. Trust me, in exam, weighted average concept, if you have to use, you will never use with statistic. Never they'll ask you a question in stats where you use weighted average. They'll ask you a very normal question. In fact, a lot of critical reasoning question could be done with the help of weighted average. Lot. And I'll explain you. Weighted average concept is very beautiful. All of you might be knowing it, but all you have to understand that how you use weighted average as a concept while solving any questions from any chapter. It doesn't matter that the question needs to be from a statistic. So I'll discuss in detail in statistics. So let's leave question number 35. Please try question number 34. The question is 2x minus 3y less than x square, not x. Take 2 minutes for this. Very straightforward question. No information is given to you. It's a S type of a question. Give me the answer. You understand the question, it need not be solved at all. Just look into the question, understand the question, answer is front of you. That I promise. Wrong, Akansha. Try again. Today we'll do class till 1:30. So please, and we'll go slow. So don't get frustrated and all. Don't spoil up your mood. Do whatever you can. Let it be wrong, right? Doesn't matter at all. But just do something. D. Okay. Anyone else? Last D. Shreya, answer. Manan, Abhishek, Parendra, please write your answer. "30-second more. That's all I'll do after this. Tell the answer. Whatever you tell, please tell something. Let it be right or wrong. Don't worry. Tell. Yeah, you have switched on the annotation, I think. Shisha, A. Okay. Gauri, what's the answer?
I don't have an answer. I don't know how to solve it.
But see here. Come. Now the question is, it's a S type of a problem. Simple logic. And I've told you there is no information given to you in the question here. Because what is our job? When we look into the question, our first job is to look it's a S type or what type. Then we need to look that is there any information given to us or not. So there is no information given. So I need not understand the information. My direct understanding is to the question. But guys, please understand. Till you don't have a proper understanding of the question, getting into the statement is an absolutely false way of doing math. There is absolutely no point you getting into the statement. Nothing. You be how much ever you are rushed up, it doesn't matter at all. You have to understand question very well. So always give 20-30 seconds to understand the question. The question says is 2x minus 3y less than x square. Now, all when I ask you to understand the question, I just want to ask you what exactly you are thinking from the question. That's it. So imagine if I have to prove 2x minus 3y is less than x square, what will I have to do? What I need to do? How can you say 2x minus 3y is less than x square? Don't leave statement at all completely. Just think, if I don't get until I don't get the value of x and y, will you be able to say that 2x minus 3y is less than x square? Don't look into statement at all. This is a normal understanding from the question. Until you don't have a little bit of understanding from the question, don't get into the statements at all. So to say that 2x minus 3y is less than x square, I need to know the value of x and y only, then I can say 2x minus 3y is less than x square, right? This is one thing that I understand from here. The other thing that I understand from here, guys, that x square is 100% positive, always. That's it. Imagine, now think how easy this question is. What is option number 1 saying? 2x minus 3y is equal to what? -2, right? So -2 is surely less than x square, sufficient. What is there to think in statement number 1? There's absolutely nothing to think in statement number 1 if you understand the question a bit. Now tell me, is this clear or not? Anyone, any doubt? Question is asking you, is 2x minus 3y less than x square? Option number 1 says 2x minus 3y is equal to -2, Rahul. Now, -2 as a number is 100% less than x square, because what is the minimum value of x square possible? 0. X square can either be 0 or a positive number. It can never be a negative number. I hope it's clear. So option number 1 is 100% sufficient just by looking into it. Now, second is what? Second is exactly nothing but what we have thought while thinking about the question. What we have thought about the question, until I don't know the value of x and y, I cannot say 2x minus 3y is less than x square. Now, option number 2 is giving you a value of x and y. You please put up the values and check for yourself. Imagine, I love taking extreme numbers. You can take any numbers. But all I'm trying to say that when you take numbers, you should understand how your question is behaving with the number. Imagine if I take x is equal to 100 and y is equal to 1. Can I for sure say for these number 2x minus 3y is surely less than x square, because x square is a humongous number. It is 100 square. It is almost 10,000. If you put 2x minus 3y, it's surely less than 10,000. Imagine if I take y is equal to 100 and x is greater than 2. X is equal to 3. Imagine. So what would happen? If I took y is equal to 100, then 2x minus 3y. Don't you think this value will be a negative value? First tell me this. Because value of y is greater than value of x. 3 as a number is greater than 2. And if you take value of y greater than the value of x, 2x minus 3y will give you a negative value. Please understand this. So negative value will always be less than x square for sure. Whatever the value of x it may be. Why not you take x is equal to 1? Doesn't matter at all. Negative value is less than 1. And if you take value of x greater than value of y, then this value will become very high. X square will become very big number. So whatever number you take from here, 2x minus 3y will always be less than x square. So even this is sufficient. So the answer is D to it. Is this clear, Gauri?
Yes, it's clear.
What exactly we did? So our main point is, Gauri, to understand the question first very well. So what we are trying to do right now is that I'm trying to do a lot of direct type of a question where you exactly understand that what we are doing, how we are doing, rest everything will be fine by default. And I'll tell you at the end of the class, how should you practice also. Can we do question number 33? Please take 2 minutes for it. Don't take more than that. But these are a beautiful question which gives you a very powerful way to think how can you solve an equality problem. Very important one. Might be a bit easy, but that doesn't matter at all. Harendra, E. Okay. Tell the answer, guys. Anyone else? Lush, what's your answer? Yes, E, Shreya, E. Abhishek, C.
Solving round.
Gaurav, Gauri, E. First, last, take 20 more seconds. Manan, what's the answer? C. Okay. See here now. So such type of a question, guys, like when you have is MP greater than MC here. Pretty straightforward question. There is no information given to me. My question understanding is MP greater than M. Now, to me, it is not understandable to that extent for sure, I'll tell you. What I figure out, you can 100% go ahead. I'm not asking you to change the way you solve the question, but I'm just telling you what I exactly feel, what is convenient for me. So if I see a same variable on the both side of the inequality or equality, I try my best to bring it in one side so that to have a complete authority on the question. So imagine I'll go ahead with this question as is MP minus M greater than 0. Why I'm doing this, I'll tell you. Is M into P minus 1 greater than 0. Now I have a full authority on my question. Now I know that they are asking is AB greater than 0 or not. Means I just need to prove is sign of A and B same or not. Is sign of M and P minus 1 same or not. 100%, I'm not trying to say that you change the method of your solving. You can 100% go, if you can understand the question, you can 100% go ahead with the same question. But I would say that with my experience, that if variables are on both the same, if there is a same variable on both the sides of inequalities or equality sign, whatever it is, bring it on one side to have a complete authority on the question. Now my question is simple. Is A into B greater than 0? It means is sign of A and B same? Is sign of M and P minus 1 same? Now I'm completely thinking about, is M and P minus 1 are of same sign? Yes or no? Because it's a type of a question. And in this type of a question, what exactly we need to do with the statement? Our purpose of solving any statement in this type is to create a yes and no situation. That's it. Now, option number 1 says me that M is greater than P is greater than 0. Imagine if I take P is equal to 5, M is equal to 10. For these values, 100% M into P minus 1 is greater than 0. Check. Because 5 minus 1 is what? 4. 4 into 10 is 40, which is greater than 0. But what I have told you, when you take numbers, question should be in your head. Why not? It is very simple question. That doesn't matter at all. But question should be in your head. Now I have simple taken. I have proved a yes situation. It's straightforward. But what is my statement telling that P is greater than 0? And what is my question? M into P minus 1. Imagine if I take P is equal to 1. Why did I take P is equal to 1? Because I know that P is greater than 0. Question says P minus 1. If I take P is equal to 1, take M any other value. Doesn't matter at all. M into P minus 1 will become equal to 0. It's a straight away no situation. That's it. Yes and no situation not sufficient. Simple logic. Is that very clear? Any problem, anyone? Option number 2 says what? P is less than 1. Now here I can 100% say no idea about M. No idea about sine of M. So not sufficient, because you can take P any value. P less than 1, you take any value, doesn't matter at all. But the question is what? Is M into P minus 1? Now you take P minus, I'll take M also minus. You take P minus, I'll take M positive. So I can 100% create a yes and no situation. So I can straight away I can say no idea about sine of M. So this is impossible to solve, because my question says is M into P minus 1. Option number 2 says you only about P. They doesn't say you anything about M. So straight away not sufficient. Now let's combine it. Now when I combine, option number 1 says what? P is greater than 0. Option number 1 says P is greater than 0. Option number 2 says P is less than 1. Can I say if I combine, P lies between 0 and 1? Anyone, any problem? Please tell. Can I say P lies between 0 and 1? I don't care about M, because I know that M is a positive number. So that doesn't matter at all. Moment if you combine and you see that P lies between 0 and 1, P minus 1 as a number will 100% be negative or not? Tell me. You take any value of P that lies between 0 and 1. You take 1 by 2, you take 1 by 3, you take 1 by 4. But you do it P minus 1, this will always give you a negative number. I know that M is 100% always positive. So when I combine, I get M into P minus 1 less than 0. It's a confirm no answer. It is same as asking, is your name Rahul? And you say no as an answer, and that's a valid answer. So in this type of a question, confirm yes and confirm no are valid answer. And option number C is giving me a confirm no answer. If you follow the take P that lies between 0 and 1, so P minus 1 will always be a negative. I know that M is always a positive. I 100% know now here that M is a positive value. P minus 1 is a negative value. My question was, is M into P minus 1 greater than 0? I'm getting a confirm no answer. It is never greater than 0. It is always less than 0. Anyone, any doubt? Please tell me. Manan, Shreya, Ullash, is this clear?
Yes, Rahul. Clear.
Gauri, Abhishek?
Yeah, clear.
Perfect.
Rahul, sorry,
Yeah, please, please. Tell
here
me.
you don't have to solve MP is greater than M, right? You can directly substitute the example values that you've given, right?
100%. You don't have to at all bring this into this format. This is for my own convenience. Like I want to have a complete authority on the question, because I don't understand is MP greater than. If at all I want to understand this, I'll have to think about sines of M, sines of P, and a lot of thing comes into picture. So to have my own authority on the question, I just think that is AB greater than 0. That's what suits me a lot. But you can 100% go ahead with this, Trisha. No issues at all. You should
Oh.
ensure that you get the answers right.
Except that if I had not solved, then I would have to take negative values also for P and M.
100%. You will have to
Okay.
take all the values considered, because option number 2 says P is less than 1. So P can be a negative value. Why not? From
Okay.
option number 1, P can't be negative. It's 100% justifies you that P is greater than 0, M is greater than. Always ensure that statements are true, Shresha. And whenever you try and solve any question, you solve any questions with the help of statement, because question has given you that statement number 1 is this, Shresha, statement number 2 is this. Now, considering that the statements are 100% true, can you prove this question? Yes or no? That's it.
Got it. Yeah.
So this is a simple logic of data sufficiency, any type of a question. Can we try doing question number 32? Please take a minute for this. Don't take more than a minute. Easy questions. And after the class, I'll share the videos with you all. Just ensure that what all questions we have done, please ensure that do it in your home once again and be extremely clear conceptually. It is very important time and again I'm saying you. Because if you can't have a command on these 35 questions, solving unseen question is simply waste of time. You will be just solving to satisfy your own conscience. Ki nahi, you have to practice, so I'll practice. No. This 35 question that we are doing in the class should be extremely conceptually clear to you, in the way that when you look into this question, you should know exactly how should you go ahead and approach the problem. And that's the only reason I'm telling you solve this 3-4 times so that it's clear. I'm not asking you to solve this 3 or 4 times so that you remember stuff. No. Because still you don't understand how we approach all these questions. How is that possible that you'll go and solve unseen questions properly? And solving any unseen questions, how many number of questions you solve, that makes no sense at all if you do not do it properly. And at the end of the class, I'll tell you exactly how should you solve. C, Arindra, okay. Anyone else? Answers, please. Abhishek, C. Manan, C. Okay. Shreya, Gauri, Trisha, tell the answer. Akansha. So see here, can I, for anyone who's trying? So see, the question says, is 3p greater than 2q? Is 3 to the power p greater than 2 to the power q? Now tell me, are these same variable or different variables? Different variables. First of all, there is no information given, absolutely acceptable. So my job is to, until I don't understand the question, getting into the statement is absolutely crap, waste of time. And understanding the question is simple in your word, just understand what needs to be done. The question is asking, is 3 to the power p greater than 2 to the power q? Do you actually think that till you don't know the value of p and q, you will ever be able to say this? Can you ever say this? You have to understand what's the value of p and q to say that is 3 to the power p greater than 2 to the power q. Simple logic. Until we don't know the value of p and q, this question can't be solved. What is option number 1? Option number 1 says q is equal to 2p. Now it's very simple for me. What exactly I can do is that I can replace the question with the value of q and see what exactly we are getting. So if I put it in the question, what happens? 3 to the power p greater than 2 to the power 2p. It means nothing but 3 to the power p is greater than 4p. But still, guys, we have no idea about the value of p. Imagine if I take p is equal to 1, so 3 greater than 4, no situation. If I take p is equal to -1, so 3 to the power -1 is what? 1 by 3, greater than 1 by 4. So a to the power -1 is said as 1 by a. A to the power -2 is said as 1 by a square. So we had 3 to the power -1, so it will be called 1 by 3. If there is 3 to the power -5, it will be 1 by 3 to the power 5. This is normal exponent rules that you should know. So here I have a yes and no situation, because when I take p is equal to -1, 1 by 3 is greater than 1 by 4. So this is a yes situation. So option number 1 is straight away not sufficient. Simple logic, nothing to bother at all. Option number 2 says what? Q is greater than 0. Q is greater than 0. But it gives you no idea about P. Absolutely no idea about P. Nothing technical. So can I straight away say not sufficient? 100% when you are solving, you get a yes or no situation. But here, do you really feel that you need to even think about yes or no situation? Because the question says 3 to the power p greater than 2 to the power q. Option number 2 says q is greater than. Now imagine if you take q 100, I'll take p 1 lakh. You take q 1 lakh, I'll take p 10 lakh. I have no idea about p. I can create anything. So creating a yes or no situation is pretty simple for me. Option, you take q is equal to 10. Imagine. I can take p is equal to 100. So 3 to the power 100 is surely greater than 2 to the power 10. I can take p is equal to 1. So 3 to the power 1 is greater than 2 to the power 10. No. So desperately don't try to create a yes or no situation when the question is so clear. Is 3 to the power p greater than 2 to the power q? You only know about q. You don't know about p. And straight away not sufficient. Don't have to create even a yes or no situation. But you should be very clear why you are not creating yes or no situation. Is there any doubt? Anybody? So this is also not sufficient. Now my job is to combine. Now combination means what? Think about it. Option number 1 says q is equal to 2p. Option number 2 says q is greater than 0. Now in combination, what do we understand? From option number 1, can I say p is equal to nothing but q by 2? Is that very clear? Agreed, yes or no?
Yes.
Now, if Q is greater than 0, can I actually come down to a conclusion that P is also greater than 0? You take any value Q, you take any positive value of Q, P will surely be greater than 0. Agreed? Now, while combining, can I 100% say that P is greater than 0 and Q is greater than 0? Both are positive numbers. And if in this situation, both are positive, only this situation will hold. It will be a confirmed no answer. You take any positive value of P, 3 to the power P greater than 4 to the power P, impossible. Take any fraction, take any integer, doesn't matter at all, anything. I need to know the sign. If I know the sign and I know that 3 to the power P is greater than 4 to the power P, we are done. Agreed? Anyone, any doubt? Gauri, is this clear?
Yeah, this is clear.
Manan, Shreya?
Yeah, it's clear.
Sure, Manan. Any problem, Manan, please ask. Nothing to worry about.
Rahul, just
Yeah, tell me.
a thought, like taking a cue from your last solution.
Hmm.
I simply converted this into like 3p minus 2q, 2 raised to power q should be greater than 0. So since 3 is greater than 2, so I thought the question is basically asking is p greater than q, right?
That's also fine.
Okay.
100%. Absolutely, Aaron. That's a brilliant. That's like you are going very logical. You don't have to touch pen and paper in that case.
Okay.
So these are the thought. If it comes, Harin, it's a beautiful thing.
Okay.
But conservative way should also be clear, Harin.
Understood.
When you know this, you can 100% go ahead. I'm just telling you guys, understand question well, everything is done. Don't worry about statements and all. Just ensure that in data sufficiency, statements are to help you. Like you have to prove a question, something, any type of a question. Statements are given that with the help of statement, can you prove the question or not? But imagine if you don't understand question only, what's the use of getting into statement at all? So just learn, think as much as you can think on the question. And if you start playing around with the question, logically things will come without even touching pen and paper. I can promise you. Like after inequality, we'll be discussing modulus, absolute value. I can 100% promise you for one single questions of absolute value, you will not have to touch any paper, pen and paper. If you understand this absolute value concept brilliantly, properly, and trust me, absolute value is a concept which makes people cry literally. If it is not understood, you will go mad about it. But if you understand the logic, you don't have to touch pen and paper at all. The way you told Harin, it's a brilliant one. It's 100% acceptable, I would say. Question number 31, please take a minute. Don't take more than this. What the answer? So it says C, 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 B, 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 B. Ulash B, Akansha B, Abhishek. Yeah. So the question is pretty simple, guys. Is M greater than N? It's straightforward. Now, what could be the understanding of this question? Please ensure that understand the question before you get into the statement. The simple understanding, when can you say, because there is no information given to you. When can you say M is greater than N? Until I don't know the value of M and N, I can't say M is greater than N or M is less than N. So this is my normal understanding. I straight away get into the statement. But whenever I come to the statement, I see N minus M and N minus M here. Now, what do you think? Doesn't this tell me ki if at all, Rahul, you can change the question for yourself, do change the question, it becomes much easier for you. Imagine, can I say my question could be, is M minus N greater than 0? If I multiply negative into this statement, can I say, is my question could be, is N minus M less than 0? Now I have three questions. Either you prove this, or you prove this, or you prove this. It's eventually the same thing. See, is it same or not? All these three questions are exactly the same thing. Now, point is, in my statement number 1 and 2, I'm given with N minus M. So I'll go around with this question. I will not even bother about this and this. Because eventually it is same thing. You prove any one of these three, it's fine. So option number 1 says what? N minus M is greater than -2. Now, when I say N minus M is greater than -2, it means it can be equal to -1. It can be equal to 5. My question is, what is N minus M less than 0? When it is equal to -1, yes, it's less than 0. But it is greater than negative, it could be 5. So it is no, not greater than 0, not less than 0. So I have a yes and no situation, not sufficient. Option number 2 says me what? That N minus M is greater than 2. If N minus M is greater than 2, it can never be less than 0. So it's a confirm no answer. It's straightforward. So B. Or else if I understand, so what exactly we can do is that, so there's a numerous way, guys, it's just about how you analyze. See here. So my question now changes to, is N minus M less than 0? I hope this is something which you accept. Is N minus 1 M less than 0 is nothing but M greater than N. It is nothing but M minus N greater than 0. So imagine I'm erasing all these things. Now simple, there is one thing more, and we'll use this a lot in other chapters as well, this logic. Now, if you don't understand anything, see the question says what? Is N minus M less than 0? Statement number 1 says what? N minus M. Statement number 2 says N minus M. So if right from the question to statement, you have exactly the same variables, you can 100% change the entire question. Imagine I say, let N minus M is equal to X, but you can do only these things in case when everything right from the question to statement, the statement number 1, statement number 2, everything there is the same values, only them. I've just assumed let N minus M is equal to X. So replace the question. My question becomes now what? Is X less than 0? Option number 1 becomes what? X plus 2 is greater than 0. Option number 2 becomes what? X minus 2 is greater than 0. Now see, it's such an easy question. My question is X less than 0? Option number 1 says X is greater than -2. If X is greater than -2, X can be -1, which is actually less than 0. Yes, situation. Or X can be 2, 3, 4, 5, anything, which is no situation because it is not less than 0. Option number 2 says me what? X is greater than 2. If X is greater than 2, X can never be less than 0 for sure. So it gives you a confirmed no answer. Just for your better understanding, I'm doing. That's it. So B is the answer to this question. Please, please, please. You don't have to worry at all, but you have to think a lot when you are doing the question. Simply doing the question, moving on is not acceptable. Think in a different possible way. However you can want to solve, please solve. Doesn't matter. Question number 30. Please take 2 minutes for this. No rush. Simple question, but variables are there. So think about it. Flash A. Okay. Orange C. Flash C. Perfect. Manan Abhishek. Yeah, C. Okay. Perfect. Gauri,
I'm still solving.
please take your time. Take 30 seconds. Akansha. Shrisha C. So simple, Gauri. The variables are on both the sides, right? And it's the same variable. So take the questions under your command. Simple. Can I say is p square q minus pq square greater than 0? Or can I say is pq into p minus q greater than 0? Now it's absolutely simple. Is a cross b greater than 0? The sign of a and b are same or not? The sign of pq and p minus q same or not? So option number 1 gives you just that a is negative, Gauri. Check. PQ is negative. But do you really think that just by knowing that PQ is less than 0, you can define something about P minus Q? And if you don't know, then straight away take some number. Because PQ less than 0 means what, Gauri? That P and Q are of opposite side. Agreed?
Yeah.
Got it? So
Yeah.
imagine if I take P is equal to -1 and Q is equal to +1. So what do I get? P minus Q will be what? It will be -1 and -1, that is -2. Right? So
Yeah.
imagine when you take P is equal to +1 and Q is equal to -1. What do you get P minus Q? You will get 1 minus of -1, that is 2. Agreed? So
Yeah.
imagine, Gauri. So option number 1 doesn't say me anything about P minus Q. I know option number 1 says ki PQ is negative. A is 100% negative from option number 1.
But I further solved this equation where it was P minus Q is greater than 0. So P eventually became greater than 0. And if P is greater than 0, P is of a greater value, right?
No, you take this value. Wait 1 second. You take P minus 1, Q plus 1, and you take,
Yeah.
because option number 1 says you what? P, Q are of opposite side.
Yeah, I didn't put numbers to it.
No, you should put numbers. You should never. Matlab, this is the way, what we are doing is algebraic only. Here it is not numbers and all. It is just our understanding that if PQ is less than 0, it means P and Q are of opposite side.
Yeah.
Take some small numbers. So this is not essentially that you are taking a number and solving. This is still algebra,
Okay.
if you understand the question well. So in option number 1, I get to know that P minus Q can be negative and P minus Q can be positive. Manan, is this clear? So this is not sufficient because I know that PQ is always negative, but P minus Q can be negative as well. In that case, PQ into P minus Q is greater than 0. And PQ is always negative, and in one case, P minus Q is positive as well. So in this case, it is less than 0. So when I take these numbers, simple. See here, no confusions at all. I'll just write it properly. When I take this value, P minus 1, Q plus 1, I get PQ into P minus Q greater than 0 because PQ is negative, P minus Q is negative. When I take P plus 1 and Q minus 1, here I get PQ into P minus Q less than 0. I have a yes situation. I have a no situation. So this option number 1 is not sufficient. Option number 2 is never ever sufficient. Why? Because I have no idea about sign of Q. Simple logic. You can 100% go and create your own plus and minus situation, positive and negative. You can create a yes and no situation. For sure, you will come. Because question is asking, is PQ into P minus Q? So I have to know the sign of Q to actually conclude even whatever happens. Just by knowing that P is negative, you can't conclude. Now, if you combine, what would happen? Option number 1 says PQ is less than 0. This is option number 1. Option number 2 says what? Q is negative. Sorry, P is negative. So what is a combination of this two statements? Can I 100% say if I combine then P is 100% negative and Q is 100% positive? Because option number 1 says P and Q are of opposite sign. Option number 2 says you that P is negative. So combination part, can I 100% say P is negative and Q is positive? Please tell me this first. Manan, can you say this?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You can say this, right? Jay, is this clear?
Yeah.
So now, when you 100% know that P is negative and Q is positive, don't you feel this condition will always hold? Take any number, doesn't matter at all. Take any number, P negative and Q positive, PQ into P minus Q will always be greater than 0. So see. Gauri, is this clear?
Yes, yes, it's clear.
Perfect. So please ensure, Gauri, whenever you see variable on both the sides, initially bring it on one side to have this, just to have a complete authority on the question, nothing else at all. Question number 29 is pretty simple one, guys. Don't take more than a minute. Ulash, Haranj, AAA. Absolutely. So see here, the question says is 5 to the power n less than 0.04. Now, first of all, until we don't understand the question, there is absolutely nothing to do in the question. You can't do anything with the statement. The question understanding is pretty simple. So if you are given such equations, what exactly is our job? Our job is to ensure that we understand what exactly is this. When is that condition possible that 5 to the power n will be less than 0.04? Again, you don't even have to think when is the condition possible. Let's solve it now. 5 to the power n less than, can I say 4 by 100? Can I say 5 to the power n is less than 4 by 100, that 1 by 25? So 5 to the power n is less than 1 by 5 square. And if I say 5 to the power n is less than 5 to the power negative 2. Now see here. When is this condition possible? Think about it. Only when n is less than negative 2, right? My question changes to is n less than negative 2. All these things are crap. Absolutely crap. Your question is what? Is n less? Because my question when I substitute my question, when I factorize it, I get that 5 to the power n less than 5 to the power n is less than 5 to the power negative 2. This is my question. Now you just have to tell me when is this condition possible. This condition is only possible when n is less than negative 2. That's it. And this is my question. If I prove this, this is by default taken care of. Nothing to worry. So my question is n less than negative 2? Yes or no? Option number 1 says what? 1 to the power n. Just solve it. 1 to the power n by 5 to the power n greater than 5 square. So 1 to the power any number is 1. 5 to the power n is there, so 5 to the power negative n greater than 5 square. Can you say that is minus n is greater than 2? If you multiply n is less than negative 2. This is what we wanted to prove, is n less than negative 2 or not. Option number 1 says me that n is less than negative 2, so this is sufficient. Option number 2 says what? Now, understand the question and then go ahead and solve statement number 2. Simply don't start solving statement number 2. My question is what? Is n less than negative 2? Simple question. Is n less than negative 2? NQ is less than n square. Can you tell me when is this condition possible?
Like when n is greater than 1 or it lies between -1 and 0.
No. It is possible for all the, what is a generalized,
And
what
less
is a
than 1.
generalized thing? It is possible for all the negative value of n. You check. All. You take n is equal to -1. This is possible because -1 to the power q is -1. -1 to the power n is -1 to the power square is 1. You take n is equal to -2. This is possible. -2q is -8. -2 square is 4. -8 is less than 4. If you take n is equal to -5, this is possible. So my question is n less than negative 2? N can be -1, which is greater than -2, and can be -5, which is less than -2. I have a straight away yes and no situation. Now, why did I do this? Because my question was n less than -2. Actually, you can 100% go ahead and solve this. I'm not saying that don't solve it. Initially, you can go and solve it. You just say nq less than n square, that is nq minus n square less than 0. Take n square common, that is n minus 1 less than 0. So if n square is 100% positive number, and a cross b is less than 0, it means what? This has to be a negative 1. So n minus 1 is less than 0, n is less than 1. Now I'm agreeing to the fact that you are trying to say ki, haan, if you take n is equal to half, then also this condition is possible for the fractional value between 0 to 1. But do you really feel we need to do looking into the question? Because my question says n is less than -2. I know that this is an equation which holds for all the negative value of n, all. It doesn't matter to me at all. So I can take n is equal to -1, where n is, and this equation holds, so n is greater than -2. I can take n is equal to -5, this equation hold, and it is less than -2. Simple logic. So not sufficient. A is the answer. Gauri, is this clear? Manan?
Yes, clear.
Yeah.
Yes, it's clear.
Perfect. Now, can we try solving question number 28? It's still a direct question, I would say you, but there's a bit of information given. So please take your time. Take 2 minutes. Nothing to worry. No rush. Yeah, yours is C. Okay. Just solve it again once. C is not the right answer.
Yeah, okay, I'll check.
Gauri, tell the answer.
Still solving.
What exactly you are doing, Gauri? Did you bring it on one side?
Yes, I did.
Now it's pretty simple. Roland. It says P is less than Q and P is less than R. This is the information that is given to you, so you can't deny this information for sure. Bit of information is given to you, but I would still consider this as a direct question. My question is PQR less than P? That is P into QR minus 1 less than 0. Agreed, Gauri?
Yes, yes.
Now simple, is A cross B less than 0? Means A and B are of opposite side. Means is P and Q are minus 1 are of opposite side. So option number 1 says what? PQ is less than 0. But what is given to me in the information? P is less than Q, right? And if PQ is less than 0, you know that P is negative. And P, you know that P is less than Q. Can I 100% conclude that P is negative and Q is positive?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But no idea about R. And all the three variables are involved over here. So please don't, all the three values are involved over here. So I need to know 100% sign of R also to actually say that is PQR minus 1 less than 0. No idea about R, so I can straight away say not sufficient. Absolutely. Don't have to worry about it. You don't have to create a yes or no situation once you understand it. Now, in option number 2 says PR is less than 0. But what is given to me in the information that P is less than R? A bit of information is given, but you have to use that information. It is not to beautify the question at all. So here it says P is negative and R is positive. Can I again say this? That P is negative and R is positive, but here I have no idea about Q. Do not carry forward the information from 1 to 2 and 2 to 1. Be very sure when you are solving two statement, it should be very independent, as if option number 1 does not exist for you and statement number 2 does not exist for you. So no idea about Q from here. But this entire question involves this variable Q. So I need to know the sign of Q for sure. I can straight away say not sufficient. Now, when I combine these two information, it says P is negative, Q is positive, P is negative, R is positive. Can I combination when I combine, can I 100% say P negative, Q positive, and R positive? Agreed, Gauri?
Yeah.
Now it's pretty simple. P, now I have to do what? Is A into B less than 0 or not? Imagine if I take P is equal to negative 1 and Q is equal to 2, R is equal to 3. I can take any number. Now for
Yeah.
these numbers, I'm getting P into QR minus 1 is surely less than 0. Why? Because this P is negative. QR is 3 into 2 minus 6 minus 1 is 5. So positive. But what I have told you, when you take number, how much ever easy the question is, doesn't matter at all. You should 100% have an eye on the question for sure. Imagine if I take P is negative 1. What is my question? QR minus 1. I just know that Q is positive, R is positive. If I take Q is equal to 1, R is equal to 1. My entire question collapses or not. See here, P into QR minus 1 will become equal to 0. So this, I have a yes situation over here where it is less than 0. I have a no situation over here, it is not less than 0.
Yeah.
So yes, no situation option is the A not sufficient, B not sufficient, C not sufficient. Answer is agreed.
Yeah.
Perfect. Question number 27, I'll come down to this. Question number 26 is 100% homework. I will not solve this question in the class. I'll only solve when you do it by yourself completely. It's very easy question. If you logically look into it, you don't have to touch pen and paper to solve it. Or else if you take numbers, it will be like a screwed up stuff. But try. So can we solve question number 23, 22? Question number 21, please. Take 1 minute for this. Pretty simple one. I'm just making you do easy questions so that you understand exactly how you approach a problem. Simple logic is that. You don't have to touch pen and paper to solve this question. See, just see and tell the answer. That's all. Absolutely. So if n is a non-zero integer, what does this mean? That n is not equal to 0 and n is integer. This is a bit of information that is given to you. Integer means minus infinity to plus infinity, all the numbers. Integer means no fractions at all. You can't take n as a fractional value because they have defined it that n is an integer. Non-zero integer means not equal to 0. And the question is asking, is x to the power n less than 1? Now to know this, let's understand the question. What is our question understanding? When can we say x to the power n is less than 1? Until I don't know the value of x and n, how do I say that it's less than 1 or greater than? Option number 1 says about what? Option number 1 only says about x. It doesn't say anything about n. It's straight away not sufficient. Option number 2 says about n. It doesn't say anything about x. Straight away not sufficient. You can actually create a yes or no situation if you wish. No issues at all. So imagine if I'm doing x greater than 1. Imagine you take x is equal to 2. Take n is equal to 4. So 2 to the power 4 is greater than 1. I have a no situation. Imagine you take x is equal to 2, n is equal to minus 1. 2 to the power minus 1 is half, which is less than 1. I have a yes situation. Yes, no situation, not sufficient. Straightforward logic, right? Same thing, n greater than 0, you have no idea about x. Take x is equal to 2, n is equal to 4, not sufficient. Take x is equal to minus 1, n is equal to 1. Yes situation. So let's combine now. Combination part says what? X is greater than 1. But it doesn't say x is an integer. So take a least value of x. Imagine we take x is equal to 1.1. This is the least value that I can take of x. And n is greater than 0. But it says that n is an integer. So you can't take n as a fractional value and n is equal to 1 minimum value. So 1.1 to the power 1 is nothing but 1.1, which is greater than 1. Now you take any other value of x and n, you will get x to the power n always greater than 1. So this is a confirmed no answer after combination. So C is the straightforward answer. Manan, clear? Shreya, is this clear? Perfect. Come down to question number 22 now. Please try. Take 2 minutes for this question. Beautiful question. Looks to be very complicated, but trust me, I think no question could be easier than this question, I can tell you. If you understand the question well. Question understanding is extremely important. Please take 2 minutes. Tell me, anyone has understood the question or not? What do you mean by it is very clearly given if x is an integer? It means you have to consider x as an integer. There's a little bit of information that is given to you that you should consider x as an integer. Now the question is type for sure, bit of information. Question says, is 3 to the power x less than 500? Do you really think you will go ahead and solve this question? Impossible.
Basic, Rahul, just if I may.
Yeah. Please tell me.
Like I reduced it to, it is basically asking if x is less than 7.
7, no?
Yeah.
No.
Because 3 to the power 7
3 to the power n
is
is 3. 3 to the power 2 is 9.
9.
3 to the power 3 is 27. 3 to the power 4 is 81. 3 to the power 5 is 243. 3 to the power 6 is 729.
Sorry, yeah, I just get
Right.
so 5.
Absolute x is x less than 6, not 5.
6, yeah.
Because if you say x is equal to 5, then it is actually less than 500. The question is asking, is 3 to the power x less than 500? Our general thought process is, when is this condition possible? Now, this condition is only possible when you take any value of x which is less than 6, because it is given to you x is an integer. So you can't take at this place x is equal to 5.5, right? If I prove x is less than 6, can I say 3 to the power x will surely be less than 500? It is by default understanding. Gauri, Manan, is this clear?
Yes.
So my question is simple, because 3 to the power 6 is equal to 729. My question is asking, is 3 to the power x less than 500? If I take x is equal to 6, it is not less than 500, it is greater than 500. If I take x less than 6, and considering x is an integer, so you can't take 5.5, 5.4 and all. It has to be an integer. So if x less than 6, x is equal to 5. If I take x is equal to 5, 3 to the power x is 5 less than 500. You take any value of x less than 6, 3 to the power x will be less than 500. Considering x is an integer, please understand. So my question here is, this is all crap. Everything what you see here is a crap. Your question is simple, is x less than 6? That's it. And option number 1 is what? Option number 1 is something that we need to try and solve it. Simple logic. Let's solve it and see what I get. Can I say 4 to the power x minus 1 is 4x by 4 to the power 1? Because please understand, a to the power m minus n is what? A to the power m by a to the power m. A to the power m cross n is what? A to the power m into a to the power n. Right? So can I simply write it 4 to the power x minus 1 is 4x by 4 to the power 1? Less than 4 to the power x negative 120. Bring 4 to the power x on the left hand side. To 4x by 4 negative 4 to the power x less than negative 120. Agreed? Take 4x to the 4x common. You will have 1 by 4 minus 1 less than negative 120. Minus 1 by 4 minus 1 is what? 4 to the power x negative 3 by 4 less than negative 120. Now what we are doing, we will multiply negative and take 4 and 3 on the, we can cross multiply 4 and 3 because these are not variables. You can't cross multiply variables, that's it. So if I multiply negative, what happened? It becomes 4 to the power x greater than 120 into 4 by 3. Anyone has problem in this step? Please tell me. Manan, Shreya, is this clear? How what I did here?
Yeah, it's clear.
But this is
Yes, Rahul.
3 by 4 is an exponent, right?
Not exponent, it is multiplication. 4x multiplied by minus 3 by 4. So it is just this. Minus 3 by 4 into 4 to the power x. This is just this. Understood?
Okay.
So what did I do? I multiplied negative. So when I multiplied or else I'll just do one step. Wait. I did nothing. First multiply negative on both the sides. So you will get 3 by 4 into 4 to the power x greater than negative 120. And now do the cross multiplication. 4x greater than 120 into 4 by 3. So this is big. It looks big, but it is not big at all. It's just two-step job. Now when you do this, this is 440. That is 4 to the power x is greater than 160. Agreed? Now tell me, when is this condition possible? If it is 4 to the power 1, it is 4. If it is 4 to the power 2, it is 16. If it is 4 to the power 3, it is 64. If it is 4 to the power 4, it is 256. It means for 4x to be greater than 160, x should be greater than 3, right? Because if I take till 3, it is less than 160. But if I take any number x greater than 3, considering x is an integer, so if you can take 4, 5, 6. So when you take 4, 5, 6, it is greater than 160. So option number 2 is trying to say you nothing but x greater than 3. Tell me this. This is just complicated, but the question is simplest question that you can get in the exam. I have done this nothing. This is simple normal substitution that we are doing. We are trying to solve it. No rocket science at all. It should not take you more than 20 seconds to do this step. When you come finally 4x greater than 160, you'll have to think, when is this condition possible? It is only possible when x is greater than 3. I hope it's very clear. So don't think about all these things at all. Just look into the final solution. That is x is greater than 3.
Rahul, is it
Yeah.
necessary to have first step x less than 6? I solved it in this way that x square has two values, plus 6 and minus 6. And from first equation, common value is coming as equal to 6. So I
Nee,
don't
one
think that
second, one
first step,
second, one second, one second. From option number 2, you did option number 2, right?
yeah,
So x is equal to plus 6 or minus 6,
minus
right?
6. And from first equation,
Nee,
only 6.
one second. So here it is 3 to the power x less than 500, right? Imagine you
Yeah.
are not doing for x less than 6. So when you say x is equal to plus 6 or minus 6, but you will have to check here again. 3 to the power 6
Yeah,
is less than actually
that's what I'm
500.
saying. From first equation, we get to know that only x is equals to 6 is possible from both the equations because x is greater than 3.
But you have solved question number 2 of statement number 2, right?
Yeah, I have solved both but I have not taken the consideration that is x less than 6.
Please
But as
please do take, Ullash, or else it will be a problem. Because if you don't consider this end of the day, then you are trying to directly play with the values that if I put x is equal to 6, I'll have to check it is not less than 500. If I take x is equal to minus 6, it is less than 500. Technically, what you are trying to say. So you are trying to say this statement is not sufficient. Option
Yeah.
number 2, option number 1, you have got x greater than 3. So you will have to check like for x greater than 3, there could be a number which is greater than 500. There could be a number which is less than 500, right?
Yeah.
And
But
again,
combining both the statements, only 6
you have
is
got
coming.
x is equal to 6,
Yeah.
right? That is also fine, Ullash. But this will
Okay.
give you a much, much better understanding of what exactly are we supposed to do in the question. Simple logic. 100%. What you've done is okay. No issue at all. But now, so the question just reduces to option number. So our question is x less than 6? Option number 1 says you x is greater than 3. If x is greater than 3, x could be 4, which is actually less than 6. X could be 10, which is greater than 6. I have a yes and no situation, not sufficient. My question is x less than 6? Option number 2 says x is equal to plus or minus 6. So when x is equal to plus 6, it is not less than 6. No situation. When x is equal to minus 6, it is less than 6. Yes situation. So not sufficient. Now, when you combine this, x is greater than 3, and option number 2 says x is equal to plus 6 or minus 6. So combination part will simple give you x is equal to 6. And my question is, what is x less than 6? If x is equal to 6, it's a confirm no answer. So see. Shreya, Manan, is this understood?
Yeah.
Yes, Rahul.
So it's pretty simple question. It looks to be tough one. That's it. Question number 23, please. Take 2 minutes for this. Think properly. It's a S type of a question. There is no information given to you whatsoever. It's straight away, like a bit of thought process is required in this question for sure. C. No, Arun. Absolutely wrong. Think. Because option number B is sufficient in 1 second. No doubt at all. This is just sufficient. You use a is concept and it is sufficient. It is giving you either a confirm yes or a confirm no answer. You don't have to even think about it. So if one statement is alone sufficient, C can never ever be the answer. Please take 30 more seconds. Yeah. Imagine I give you a simple analogy. There is a simple analogy to a question. Imagine if I say you is x greater than 10. Option number 1 says you x is greater than 20. Option number 2 says you x is equal to 25. Will you in 1 second say answer is D? Because now you know that 20 as a number is greater than 10. So if a number is greater than 20, it will surely be greater than 10. You know 25 as a number which is greater than 10. So it's 100% sufficient. Now imagine option number 2, I can straight away say sufficient, right? Because my question is asking what is x greater than 10 to the power 10. Option number 2 gives me a confirmed value of x. X is equal to 2 to the power 35. Now it does not matter to me whether this is greater than 10 to the power 10 or whether it is less than. Imagine there is you get a value of this which is actually greater than 10 to the power 10. So you say it's a confirmed yes answer. Imagine you get a number which is actually less than 10 to the power 10. It's a confirmed no answer. So option number 2 is giving you a definite confirm yes or a confirm no. So this is straight away sufficient. No logic applies here at all. Simple is concept which says that this is sufficient. So option number 2 is sufficient. Our job is to check option number 1. So in this case, is x greater than 10? My first option is x is greater than 20. Now you technically know that 20 as a number is greater than 10. So you say option number 1 is sufficient in this question. But in this case, what we exactly in the actual question, what we'll have to do? We'll have to figure out 10 to the power 10 is greater and 2 to the power 34 is greater. If you get 2 to the power 34 greater than, as per this question, it can be straight away said sufficient, but we'll have to compare it. So the point is, how should you compare big numbers? Guys, now there is a different way to compare. I remember I was teaching a guy from Bits Pilani. He just saw the numbers and he's like, Rahul, do this, do this, do this, and this is greater. I don't exactly remember. I'll just tell you a generalized method. What I do is that you can 100% go and use your head that how should you compare these two numbers. There is no definite logic. Every comparison is done in a very different ways. But I can tell you one small thing that when you are comparing some big powers, try to bring base as close possible as you can. If at all you can't bring the same base value. So imagine, can I write 10 to the power 10 as 10 to the power q to the power 3 into 10 to the power 1? Can I write this? Because when you remove the bracket, it becomes 10 to the power 9. And this is 10 to the power 1. When you bring the base same, it becomes 10 to the power 10. See here. So I can 100% write this as right. This 100%, 10 to the power 10, I can write 10 to the power q into 10 to the power 1. 2 to the power 34, what can I write? Can I write 2 to the power 10 to the power 3 into 2 to the power 4? Now there will be a lot of question that, Rahul, how did you do this? How did you take this? But this won't happen. Like there is no generalized method of solving this, guys. There's no some method that you should be doing in this way. No. It's all about that you will have to do a sort of a hit and trial method for yourself when you are doing it. A lot of people tries to convert here 2 into 5 term, like they write 10 as 2 to the power 10 into 5 to the power 10, and they try to compare it with 2 to the power 34, but here 5 is extra number. So how do you think about it? Please think as much as you can. So these are the places which increases your thought process. These are the normal questions. So 10q, what can I write? Can I write 110q as 1000 to the power q into 10? 2 to the power 10 is what? 2 to the power 5 is 32. So 32 into 32 is how much? Sure. 1024 to the power q into 16. 2 to the power 4 is 16. Now see, 1024 is greater than 1000. So 1024 q will be surely greater than 1000 q. 16 is greater than 10. So obviously 1024. So 2 to the power 34 is greater than 10 to the power 10. This is what we have proved. And the moment you understand 2 to the power 34 is greater than 10 to the power 10, it is straight away sufficient. Imagine is x greater than 10? Option number 1 says x is greater than 20. Why you say option number 2, 1 is straight away sufficient? Because you know 20 as a number is greater than 10. Any number which is greater than 20 will surely be greater than 10. So here 2 to the power 34 as a number is greater than 10 to the power 10. So any number that is greater than 2 to the power 34 will surely be greater than 10 to the power 10. So option number 1 is sufficient. Option number 2 is by default sufficient. So D is the answer. Manan, Gauri, Shreya, any doubt?
No, no, all
Akansha,
Yeah, Rahul.
Yeah.
can you please try solving question number 24? Pretty simple question. Try, take a minute, not more than this. Pretty simple question. Is xy greater than 0? That's it. Is are x and y of same sign? Yes or no? Option number 1 says what? There's some equation given to you. That x negative y greater than -2. That is what? X greater than y minus 2. Now, what is our job? Our job is simple to prove is x and y as an individual entity are of same sign or not. So what we see over here, x greater than y minus 2. I have no idea what is x, what is y. I can take any number. Imagine if I take y is equal to -1. What do I get? X greater than -3. If x is greater than -3, x can be equal to -2 and x and y are of same sign. Check. But if x is greater than -3, x can be 5 as well. In this case, x and y are of opposite sign. This is what I have to do. I don't have to do anything else because my entire job purpose is to create is x and y of same sign or not. And this is an equality equation given to you. It means a range is given to you, some ranges and all. It will never be same. Could be anything. Because when I put y is equal to -1, I have got x is greater than -3. And if x is greater than -3, x and y, x can be equal to -2. In this case, x and y are of same sign. But if x is greater than -3, x can be 5 also. X and y are of opposite sign, not sufficient. I have a yes and no situation. This is yes situation. This is no situation. Same thing I do with option number 2. X is less than 2y minus 6. I have no idea about x and y. You can take any number in the world that comes to your head. Doesn't matter at all. Imagine if I take y is equal to 4. So what x becomes? X is less than 2. If x is less than 2, x can be equal to 1. X and y are of same sign. Check. But x can be equal to -5. In this case, x and y are of opposite sign. Not sufficient. Straightforward. Now I need to combine these two equations. So what I've told you, combination of two equations is just solving those two equations. Nothing needs to be done at all. Just solve those two equations. That's all. Ensure that when you are solving an equality sign, you have to make the sign same and make it greater than equal to in most of the cases. So now I know that option number 1 and 2 are not sufficient. So what is my next job? To combine the equations. See here now. If I combine, now these are two equations. How do I combine two equations? I'll simply try and solve them. Option number 1 says x minus y is greater than -2. But in option number 2, it is greater than. So I need to change, it is less than. So I need to change that sign, because when you're combining inequality equation, sign should be same. So if I multiply negative over here, what I'll get? Minus x plus 2y greater than 6. Now, if I add this, x cancels off. Minus 2y plus y is y greater than 4. If y is greater than 4, take y is equal to 5. Put it over here. You will get x is greater than 3. If y greater than 4, x is greater than 3. So y is also positive, x is also positive. See, they are of same sign. Simple logic. There is nothing to do at all. You cannot at all get blindfolded, or you cannot at all get stuck by looking into such a statement. Nothing. You just try and analyze, it will happen for sure. Just understand what you are doing. My job is to create x and y are of same sign or not. And this is the equation that is given to me. Now with this equation, and it's an inequality equation by the way. So with my purpose is only with this particular equation, how do I prove xy greater than 0 or less than 0? Or if at all you can get a yes and no situation, please get that situation. Is that okay? Anyone, any doubt? Abhishek,
All
Akansha.
clear. Understood.
Try question number 25. Now, it might look tough to you. It might look stupidities. Okay, what exactly is this? What are these equations? But you solve this. It's an easy one. I can tell you. It's pretty easy one because question itself is easy. Is xy less than 0? Now, they have given you such big equations. Your entire job is to create a yes or no situation. If at all you can create. Please take 2 minutes for this. That's the reason I solved the above one first, because I wanted you to try this, not waste time on that. Take 2 minutes. Do whatever you can. Yes. Please tell what exactly you are doing. It's simple. Question is pretty simple. X and y are integer. Xy is not equal to 0. It means what? Neither x is equal to 0 nor y is equal to 0. Because if 1 is 0, xy will be equal to 0. They have given you a bit of information saying that xy is not equal to 0, x and y are integer. My question is xy less than 0? Now, when question is this easy, when you see, when question is very understandable to you, it means question is easy, simple logic. Because xy greater than 0 means what? X and y are of same sign or not? This is what I need to find. It's very independent equation is given to you. And there is no restrictions of x and y. They have just told you x and y are integer. That's it. Can I write y? This has xq, I'll take common, I'll tell x minus 1. Simple. I have no idea about x and y. I can take anything. Imagine if you take x is equal to 1 over here, y becomes 0. You are not supposed to take this because question says x is not equal to 0, y is not equal to 0. So you can't take this number for sure. Imagine if I take x is equal to 2, will I get y a positive number? Don't calculate. 2 minus 1 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. And this is 2q. Obviously, positive into positive. Y is positive. X and y are of same sign. Imagine if I take x is equal to -1, will I still get y is equal to a positive value? Please check. Because if it is -1, -1, -1, -2, and this is -1 to the power q, it means -1. -1 into -2 is +2. So x and y are of same sign. This is a no situation. X and y are of opposite sign. This is a yes situation. Not sufficient. It's straight away. There is nothing to think at all in such question. I'm being very clear. If question is understandable to you, it means question is easy. You should not at all bother looking into the statements at all, because I have no idea about x and y. I'm independent to take whatever value I want to take. Option number 2, you see, if you take y square, if I take y square common, will I get x square minus x minus 12 greater than 0? I know that y square, now it means AB is greater than 0. You know that A is 100% greater than 0 because y square is always positive for sure. It means if A is greater than 0, you know this, B has to be greater than 0. It means what? X square minus x minus 12 greater than 0. If you factorize this, what would happen? X square minus 4x plus 3x minus 12 greater than 0. That is x minus 4 plus 3 into x minus 4 is greater than 0. That is nothing but x minus 4 into x plus 3 is greater than 0. So x minus a into x minus b greater than 0 means what? X is either less than -3 or x is greater than 4. It means x can have some positive value, x can have some negative value. I have done here exactly the same thing which we studied in the last class. X minus a into x minus b greater than 0. That is x is less than a or x is greater than b. So x is less than -3, x is greater than positive. It means x can be, you can take a negative value of x, you can take a positive value of x. You know that y square is 100% positive, but value of y can still be positive or negative. Because if you take y is equal to 2, y square is what? 4. If you take y is equal to -2, y square is 4. So y can still be positive or negative, doesn't matter at all. So from option number 2, what I get to know? I know that y can be positive or negative. No confirm value of y. I can know that x can be positive or x can be negative. No confirm value of x also. No confirm sign of x. I can straight away say not sufficient. Now the combination of this will come a problem if you go with the normal logic that Rahul, these are two equations. I'll try and solve these two equations. Do you really feel you will be able to solve these two equations? It is x4, xq, that is y square, x square. Impossible. You should not get into solving this. You should analyze the answer itself. From option number 2, I have no idea about y. It can be positive and negative. I have no idea about x. It can be positive and negative. From option number 1, I have no idea about x. X can be positive or negative. So even if you combine, you're not getting anything. E. Is this clear?
Rahul, we can
Yeah.
solve the first equation as we want.
Yes, tell me. Can't hear you.
So the first equation,
Yeah.
and then x ki power 4 multiplied by x minus 1 should be less than 0. So x ki power 4 is greater than 0. X minus 1 is less than 0 to be required. X less than 1 to be required.
I didn't get one straight till again. Muller.
We want in question that is xy less than 0.
Right.
So for first condition, you have written y is equals to x cube x minus 1.
Right.
Multiply both sides by x. It becomes x ki power 4 multiplied by x minus 1. It should be less than 0.
So you are trying to say here, 1 second, Ullash.
Yeah. So yeah.
You are trying to say I multiply xy. Here it is xy, and this is
Yeah. X
x4
ki
into
power
x
4 minus 1.
1. Yeah.
We want it less than 0.
Yeah.
So ultimately we want x less than 1 because x to the power 4 is greater than 0.
Yeah, but that's what we don't know about x now. So you can say from here not sufficient, right?
Oh no, but we want x complete this equation as less than 0.
Yeah, we want this value to be less than 0, right?
Yeah. For this to be less than 0, x should be less than 1.
Yeah, okay.
So
But this is
from second
no,
condition,
no,
we are
one second. One second. For this is less than, you have told this should be less than 0, right?
yes.
But we want xy to be less than 0, right? But I technically at this point of time, I don't know ki how will this equation behave for us.
No, I'm seeing as first equation as what should be the value of x to make the xy as less than 0. So if x is less
No,
than
but this is
1,
our question. This is our question only, Ullash. Is
yeah,
xy less than 0?
I do it in a reverse way. Like
Okay,
we
that's
want x.
fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm understanding ki for xy to be less than 0, this should be less than 0, right?
Yes.
But the point is that our condition is not given ki actually this is because it whether this equation is less than 0 or greater than 0 depends on the value of x, right?
Yes.
But
So
that value of x is
we
not
will,
defined us now, Ullash.
yeah, it's not defined. We will write it as if x less than 1, then this condition would satisfy. And we would see
Yeah.
from the second equation.
No, but
If we
that's
have
fine.
taken-
That's fine. If this is less than 1, this condition would satisfy. But
Yes.
technically, I don't have any defined value of x over here now, Ullash, because it says question says that x and y are just integers. Question is not asking you to you purposely create a situation where xy. I understand you are trying to say ki I create a situation xy less than 0 only possible when x is less than 1. But this x less than 1 is nowhere defined to us now, Lash. We are trying to purposely prove you are trying to purposely prove the equation that xy is less than 0, right? So
Yes.
you are thinking in just one direction ki when xy can be less than 0. I understand you are telling ki x is less than 1. But how do I get to know ki x is less than 1 actually? Or not? This is an
That
independent
can be
variable.
seen from the second equation because there is no value of x satisfying. So-
You are telling on the basis of combination you are asking me, right?
Yeah, on
Here
the
also
basis
it is
of
not defined now because x can be negative, x can be less than negative 3, x can be greater than 4. Yeah, on that
Yes.
basis also you can say it is not sufficient. Agreed. Yeah, what you're trying to say, and I understood. Perfect, that's fine. But answer is E, right? That's valid.
Yeah,
No?
E. But
Perfect.
I have not done with the numbers, taking the numbers for the first
That's okay.
equation.
That's okay, Ulash. No issues at all. You can 100% go and do this. No issues at all. But is this clear? Anyone, any doubt? Gauri, Manan,
No,
Shreya?
all clear, Rahul.
Oh no.
Perfect. So now I'll not take much time, don't worry. But right now, let's do one. So what we have done right now is the question that where the questions are pretty direct. Let's do some questions where there is some information given to you. One second. Can you please try solving question number 5? Looks to be very easy one, but a classy 800 level problem, I can say you for sure. Tough question. Try question number 5. Take your time. You can take 2 minutes, 3 minutes, no issues at all. Do whatever you want to do. So what exactly you are doing? If you take numbers, you are royally screwed up. Remember. So this is a question where some information is given to you. It says xy plus z is a odd integer. XYZ are integer, and this xy plus z is a odd integer. This is given to you in the question, this information. Now question is asking, is x even integer? Option number 1 says xy plus xz is even. This is actually a number system question, but 100% it's an equality problem also. Second is y plus zx is odd. Odd. So please understand, 100% you can go ahead and take numbers. If you want to do that, improve your number capacity, improve it, no issues at all. But please understand there is a bit of information that is given to you. Now, this information is not to beautify the question for sure. If there is some information given to you, it has to be used with statement number 1. It has to be used with statement number 2 as well. So this is a common information that is given to you in the question. And don't you feel this information is given to in terms of equation? 100% xy plus z is equal to an odd number. This is the equation that is given to you. Question is asking, is x an even integer? Statement number 1 is given to you in terms of equation, that is xy plus xz is even. Statement number 2 is given to you in terms of equation, that is y plus xz is odd. Now we need to learn how to use this particular information while we are solving the question. Simple logic. So what I have told you, if there is how do you use two equations? You simply try and solve those two equations. You do nothing else at all. Use of two equations, two statement, and those statements are in terms of an equation. So how do we do? We simply use that equations to solve the question. That's it. And using the equation means solving the equations. That's it. So information is given in terms of equation. Statement number 1 is in terms of equation. And I'm 100% sure that I have to use this particular information. This is not to beautify the question for sure. So how do you exactly go ahead? I'll simply use this information equation with the statement number 1. What is given to me? Xy plus z is odd. This is given to me in the information. So how do I use these two equations? I'll simply try and solve. I'll do minus. So xy cancel. What I get is xg minus z. Even minus odd is what? 4 minus 3, 1. That is odd. You take any even number, subtract any odd number from an even number, you will get an odd number. Now take z common. You get x minus 1 is odd. That is nothing but a cross b is odd. When is this condition possible? Only when a is odd and b is odd. There is no other possibility at all. Right? It means b should be odd. B is nothing but x minus 1. So for this equation to satisfy, g into x minus 1 should be odd. X minus 1 should be odd. If x minus 1 is odd, x is equal to nothing but odd plus 1. That's even. So this is sufficient. So I have done nothing. I have used my information with the statement number 1. Information was in terms of equation. Statement number 1 is in terms of equation. The way to use it to simply solve. That's it. And this is valid for any question. It is not valid for it is not just for inequality. Any data sufficiency question, this is valid. Technically, this is a number system problem. It has got nothing to do with inequality. Now, same thing with second statement. Xy plus z is odd. What is given to me in second statement? Y plus xz is odd. I will say xy plus z is odd. Now, if I subtract, I see nothing is being cut out. Even if you add, so I personally love to add. So I can say y plus xy plus z plus xg. Odd plus odd is what? 3 plus 3 is 6. That is even. So any odd plus any two odd number you take, you add it, you will get an even number. And you can subtract it, whatever you do. You either subtract or you add. Doesn't matter at all. Even if you subtract, you will get eventually the same thing. Because 5 minus 3 is 2. Odd minus odd will also always give you an even number. So now take a common y into 1 plus x. And z is equal to nothing but 1 plus x. That is even number. So 1 plus x into y plus z is even number. So now see here, a cross b is even. So when product of two numbers are even, when it is both even, or this could be even, this could be odd, this could be odd, this could be even, all will give you an even number. Simple logic. Now check here, 1 plus x can be even. If 1 plus x is even, x is odd. because x is equal to even minus 1. Even minus 1 will give you odd number. 1 plus x can be odd as well. When 1 plus x is odd, x is even. So in this case, x is equal to odd. In this case, x is equal to even. So I'm not sure about from option number 2, x could be odd, x could be even, so not sufficient. So answer to this question would be A. Now, there's a way to solve this question by taking numbers, but ensure if at all you try to do this question by taking numbers, please understand whatever number you take should satisfy this statement, should satisfy this particular information, and then you again come down to a conclusion whether x is even or odd. And imagine if you take one set of a number, you might be tempted to take two sets of a number, because in number system you should always take at least minimum 2 to 3 sets of a number. So imagine how much time will it take. And same thing again for this, you will have to ensure that whatever number you take, y plus xj should be odd. And for the same number, question should also be 100%. The statement information should also be odd. And then you come down to a conclusion that x is even or odd. So this question seems to be very easy, because end of the day, you will feel that I have to prove just x is an even number or an odd number. But if you don't follow this, if you go through the numbers, it will be a huge problem. So the learning from this question is pretty simple, guys, that if there is an information given to me, this information is in terms of equation. Statement number 1 is in terms of equation. How should I use this particular information to solve my statement? Because information is common for both the statement. You have to use it with both the statement. And based on the same logic comes question number 27. Can you please try once? I hope is there any problem? Anyone, please tell me what I have done.
Rahul, is there a
Right.
sure way that we can know in which questions to solve algebraically and in which questions to have these numbers?
That will come with the practice, Ullas.
Okay.
There's no such ways that
Because I tried solving it with numbers, but
it
that
will
time
be
is
screwed
wasted.
up. It will be
Yeah.
screwed. And the point is when you take numbers also now, you first of all, you will be extremely confident about this question that I'll get the answer for sure. When you take numbers, you will aram se waste 5 minutes. You will not have any conclusive answers at all. But in
Yeah,
exam,
exactly.
could you expect that no, this is an easy question, I should do it? Your conscience will not permit you to leave that question at all. Absolutely
Yes.
no. But you
That
should not.
time is wasted actually.
100%, because even you waste 10 minutes on this question, you will not get a conclusive answer. You may get answer A for sure, but your internal feeling will always be, should I take one other number and check? And moment you go to other number, again 5 minutes is wasted. So, but it will come with the practice, Ullas. There is no certain way that this is a question that you should do with numbers. This is a question that you should do with this statement. Like question number 27, exactly the same thing. There's information given to you, information in terms of an inequality equation. Statements are in terms of an inequality equation. You should do nothing else at all except what I've told you right now. And believe on this, any questions of data sufficiency from any chapter, this logic will be used for sure. Try 27 number. You should not take at all any time. This is information that is given to you. This information is given to you. Question is asking is R greater than T. This information is in terms of equation. My statement is in terms of equation. So I should not think anything else. Just use this information R plus S. Option number 1 says what? T greater than S. Option on what is my information? R plus S greater than 2T. Just add R plus S plus T greater than S plus 2T. SS cancel. T goes that side, R greater than T. Sufficient. Second, R statement R greater than S. What is the information given to me? R plus S is greater than 2t. Just add 2R plus S greater than S plus 2t. SS cancels out. 2 cancels out. R greater than T. Sufficient. Should not take you more than 20 seconds. And you can 100% believe on this logic. This is proper logic I'm telling you. This is not my observations and all. This is how it should be solved. You can 100% use your own logic because it is T greater than S, do something, Rahul, but why you should waste your time when there is some very certain process front of you that you just use it, combine it and do it. But this is only in the case when information is in terms of equation, statement is in terms of equation. Only then you can do it. Else no. Is this clear? Manan, Shreya?
Yes, Rahul, it's clear.
Yeah.
Now come down to question number 19, please. Now this is a question which was asked in my GMAT exam. Same. Exactly the same question was asked in my exam. Please try. Take 2 minutes. Now here you can't add and subtract because it is not in terms of that addition, subtractions and all, but try, do whatever you want. All of you are bored now. That's the last question. After that, we'll stop. Don't worry. D. Absolutely. Others, please mark your answer. D, Shreya. Okay. Harendra, what's the answer? Abhishek, answers, please. See here. Now it says that if MV is less than PV is less than 0, Manan E, no. It says if MV is less than PV is less than 0. It means this is information that is given to you. It is given that MV is less than PV and is less than 0. Now the question you're asking is V greater than 0. This is my question. Option number 2 is straightforward sufficient, no? Because it says M is less than 0. And what is given to me in the information that MV is less than 0. If M is negative, V has to be positive. Simple logic. So sufficient. Whichever option you feel easy for yourself, go and attempt that option. There is no way that you have to first attempt 1, then 2, then C, nothing. Now, what is given to me in the question that MV is less than 0? Agreed? This is given to me in the question. Option number 2 says me what? That M is negative. If M is 100% negative, V has to be positive. That's it. The story over. Now come down to option number 1. Now there is 2 ways to solve this. You can go ahead and take numbers, or you can play up with the information. What information is given to you? MV is less than PV is less than 0. Now with this information, can I come down to a conclusion that MV minus PV is less than 0? This is not that question where you add and subtract, because in information there are two inequality sign given to you. In option there are just one inequality sign. So you can't add and subtract. But we can 100% play around with the information. MV is less than PV is less than 0. Can I say MV minus PV will surely be less than 0? Imagine this is a statement that is given to you. MV is less than PV. I know that this entire thing is less than 0. Can I for sure say MV minus PV is less than 0? Can I 100% say this? If at all you don't believe, take some numbers for yourself. What is given to you? MV is less than PV. And you know that this is less than 0. So imagine minus 10 is less than minus 9, or you can say minus 20 is less than minus 19. You can say minus 30 is less than minus 20, something. So here when minus 10 plus 9 is surely less than 0, check here. Minus 20 plus 19 is surely less than 0. Minus 30 plus 20 is surely less than 0. So we can 100% come down to a conclusion that MV is less than MV minus PV is surely less than 0. If you can come down to this conclusion, the entire question is 1 second question. What option number 2 says? Option number 1 says what? M minus P is less than 0. Simple logic. And what is this? V into M minus P is less than 0. Now see here, it is given to me in the information that V into M minus P is less than 0. I know that M minus P is a negative value. I know from statement number 1 says this is a negative value. So this has to be positive. Sufficient. So this is this is a way you can solve this question by using information. But imagine if you don't know to use such information, then how should you try? In fact, when it came in my exam, I also tried by numbers only. I didn't try by this. See here. Now, if at all, because option number 2 is straightforward sufficient, there should be no doubt in option number 2. But in option number 1, we'll have to check a bit. If at all you don't know how to play around with the information, which you should try and understand for sure. Let's take some number. It says MV less than PV. Question says MV less than PV is less than 0. It says M is less than P. And they are asking, is V positive or not? Can I 100% conclude from this particular information that M and P are of same sign and V is opposite sign? For sure, 100%. Imagine, let's take the solution M is less than P. Let's take when M and P are positive. Let's take when M and P are negative, positive. Let's take M is equal to 5 and P is equal to 10. Imagine M is less than P, 5 is less than 10, and let's say V is equal to minus 1. Now, when you have taken such number, see that this information is satisfying or not, because you have to take such number where information satisfies. So my 5 into minus 1 less than 10 into minus 1 less than 0. That is minus 5 less than minus 10 less than 0. This series does not exist in math at all. Minus 5 is not less than minus 10. Minus 5 is greater than minus 10. So you can't take M positive, M and P positive and V negative. Now let's take a number where I take M and P negative and V positive. Imagine I take, because I have to take a number where M is less than P. M is, let's say, minus 10. P is minus 5. And let's say V is equal to positive 1. Can I say minus 10 into 1 less than minus 5 into 1 less than 0? That is nothing but minus 10 less than minus 5 less than 0. This 100% suffice. So this info, this series does not exist itself in the number system. So this is wrong. I can't take this value at all. I can only take value when M is negative, P is negative, and V is positive, and only then this information will satisfy. So I have actually done an exam in the same way, but you can 100% play around with the information. So even this is sufficient. Answer to this is D, because option number 2 is by default sufficient. Agreed? Any problem? Shreya, Gauri, Manan, any question here?
No, all clear.
No.
Jay, Abhishek, any questions? Acha, chalo, we'll stop now. But please make some question number 20 we have done right in the first class. I've told you. X greater than Y, X square greater than Y. It could be X could be greater than Y, or X could be less than Y. Not sufficient. This is nothing but Y square greater than X. The question is X greater than Y square greater than X? It means Y could be greater than X or Y could be less than X. Not sufficient. So how do I combine this equation? I'll simply add it. x square plus y square is greater than x plus y. Now from here, imagine I take x is equal to 4, y is equal to 3. 4 square plus 3 square is greater than 4 plus 3. That is x is greater than y. But imagine x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 4. Again, can I say 3 square plus 4 square is greater than 3 plus 4? X is less than y, but this suffices. So E is the answer to this. We have done in the first class when I was teaching even powers are not predicted. So please, so what are the questions that are left? I'm just telling you. And these are some pretty simple questions. Don't worry. A lot is left to make a note of it. Because in next class, we can finish all these questions in hardly 1 hour. So we'll start absolute values. Make a note of it. Question number 2 is left. Question number 4. Some of you please make a note so that it will be easy in the next class. Question number 2, question number 4. Question number 5, 6. Pretty simple one, hardly 2 minutes. Both. Question number 7, very simple one. Question number 9. Question number 10. Question number 12, very simple. Question number 13, pretty simple. Question number 14, very, very simple one. Question number 15, 16 we'll do in statistic. I'll teach you properly. Question number 15. Question number 17. Question number 18. How many questions are there? Please count. Anyone?
13.
13 question, right? It should not take us more than 1 hour next class. But guys, please understand. I have given you almost like 15 days to inequality, next 1 week also again. So now what is your job? Your job is first to be very clear with the question that we have discussed. I'll send the videos to you. You can 100% go ahead, watch it. Ensure that everything should be very clear. You should 100% conceptually understand. Do not at all bother that Rahul, how will I think? I'll get to think. You will 100% get to think, but please follow this. Ensure that do all the questions by yourself. Whatever 13 questions that are remaining, please finish it by yourself. And I'll do it in the class. Don't worry at all. I'll do every questions in the class, but ensure that you finish it by yourself. So now what are the, how should you be studying? I'll just tell you. So imagine when you were doing this question, let me open 1 second. I'll just tell you the ways to study because this is the only way which will help you. No other way will help you at all. Be very sure about it. It's a hard truth, but this is how we should be going about it. So imagine this is an inequality PDF. So this is an inequality PDF. Imagine you are doing some question. Let's say question number 19. Now this is the question that you were trapped at. If it's not that you were trapped at it, may, let's say you took 10 minutes in this question, you took 15 minutes in this question, you took 20 minutes in this question. That's absolutely fine. But try your best. Ensure that you try your best. But you have tried it for half an hour, whether you get the answer, you don't get the answer, but because it took you 20 minutes, 25 minutes, half an hour, it means that this question is something which is a concern for you. Your job is to simply copy this question from here, paste it on the browser. See, there's a discussion of this question in GMAT Club. Now, guys, please understand, all of you make your account in GMAT Club. Extremely important when you are preparing for GMAT. You study anywhere, doesn't matter in the world. But this is the site which you should understand 100% how to explore this site. Be very sure. This is GMAT Club is a place which can break you or which can make you for sure. It can ensure that you get 750. But it can break you in such a way that you will not even get 600. That's the whole point about GMAT Club. But the best part about is that whatever questions I'm giving you, whether I'll be giving you extra questions also, but whatever handouts question that I'm giving you, every question is discussed in GMAT Club. It means that the question that you are solving is very authentic. You're not solving some alto-falto questions for sure. So your job is that you have come into this, you have given half an hour to this question. Whatever, just look into the answer. Now imagine if the answer says D, you have got answer C. It means you need to go and rework by yourself. Until you don't get your own answer, don't come down to the explanation. But there are a lot of people who explains you over here. You can 100% go ahead and read it. But your job is to come down of the page, extremely down. Now, because this question has troubled you, your job is to go and solve similar topics. Now, press any of this question, doesn't matter at all. Just open this question Your job is to solve these questions properly now. This is front of you, given to you. Solve these questions, look into the answers. Imagine you have got answer C and the right answer is B. Now, please understand it's a is type of a question. You have got answer C because according to you, you were very sure option number 1 is not sufficient, option number 2 is not sufficient. But the answer written here is C. Imagine. So your job is to now go look into statement number 2 and think by yourself that the yes or no situation that you have got is a wrong thing for sure. And that's the reason answer is B. So you have to ensure that how you have got yes or no situation. Go and relook it. But ensure until you get the answer, don't go down. It's not that you solve for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and you can't solve it. You look into the answer and you see that you have understood everything well. That's crap. That's the crappiest thing that you can do in math section. Remember, it is the most disastrous strategy to try a problem for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and you could not get the answer. You have come down to GMAT club, you have looked into the answer, and you felt that you have understood it. This is a very fake understanding that you will take for yourself. This is not how math should be done. You come down here, look into the answer. Answer is B. You have got C. Your job is to go ensure. Now you know it's a type of a question. If an answer is B and you have got C, it simple means according to you, option statement number 1 is not sufficient. And if a statement number 1 is not sufficient, it means you have got yes and no situation there. You have, according to you, statement number 2 is not sufficient because when you combine, you only combine when we are 100% sure that 1 is not sufficient and 2 is not sufficient. So, but the right answer is B and you have got statement number 2 as not sufficient. It means you have got a yes and no situation. So go and overlook it for sure. 100% overlook it. Do not come down till you have got your answer. And because you were trapped in that question, so when, let's say you have solved it, it took you 20 seconds or 2 minutes to solve it. Again, come down of the page. You will have a similar topics. Now you can straight away go to some questions, whatever you wish, any questions you want. But be very sure that don't come down and look into the explanation. If you do that, trust me, you will not even get 600. You forget about 700 plus and all. There's a normal rules of math is that there is a question in front of you and you have to do it 100% by yourself. Only then you are good in math. Even if you take 0.1% help from somewhere else, it's all over. It simple means that this is not how it was expected from you. The definition of being good in math is that there's an unseen question in front of you. How do you approach it? It's as simple as it is. So we need to follow all these things for sure. And so that's what I'm telling you. When you are solving the question, I'm like, you don't have to wait for me. I'll give you extra questions when I'm done with the absolute value. Because in my extra questions, inequality and absolute value is exactly at the same place. So I'll send you extra questions. I'll write a proper email as to how should you be doing it. But in case, if you want to play around with yourself, you're solving stuff like, let's say you solve question number, you find question number 11 to be difficult one. It took you time. It took you 20 minutes to do this. So simple job is to copy this question. And I promise my 99% of the questions will be there in the GMAT club. 1% may miss. So your simple job is to come to GMAT club. Because this question took time to you, it has taken 20 minutes to you, or let's say 30 minutes to you. But ensure don't come to GMAT. Do not look into the answer till you have your answer. Now you looked into the answer over here, come down straightforward. Because this question took time to you, solve similar topic. The day, guys, you start solving questions from GMAT club without seeing it, you can actually feel that now your chapter is good. Now you have a command on this chapter. That is one thing that we can 100% feel about it. There is no absolutely doubt. And I will also give you extra questions, and my extra questions, I promise whatever questions I give you, 99% of the question is there in the GMAT club for sure. So you can't doubt the authenticity of the questions for sure. Do not at all do not waste your time in question which is not discussed in GMAT club. Be very sure about it. Let's prepare for GMAT, not for CAT at all. A lot of people go and do, you can do for your entertainment, no doubt. If you love solving questions, solve any question, doesn't matter at all. Every question in math can prove a beneficial for you, but yes, you should know how to solve it, 100%. So in the next class, what we will do is that we'll finish off this inequality, whatever 13 question is. Some of you please make a note. I think you have made a note of it. I'll finish off. It will take us 1 hour. And then we'll also start absolute value. So what is your job right now is that today is Saturday. Okay. Today is Saturday till Wednesday. Till 2nd of Feb. How much ever you can do inequality question, please do. I've told you, you can solve. Take a aim that at least solve 20 unseen questions from GMAT club. Please solve it. It will be good for you. Doing same. But ensure that before that, ensure that whatever questions is there in the handout, you should have 100% command in it, 100% command in it. Then whichever question you feel tough while solving, just put into GMAT club, come down, solve some similar type of a question to gain that confidence for sure. So till Wednesday, try to solve as much inequality as you can. Or I would till Wednesday. And from Thursday, Friday, you start studying absolute value as well. In today's mail, I'll also send you the absolute value chapter with a proper video, the way I have sent for the inequalities one. So an absolute value chapter is, guys, be very sure. This is one chapter which make cries to a lot of people. It's a very simple concept, but extremely logical. If you understand absolute value well, for any questions of absolute value, I promise you will not have to pick up pen and paper. It's just mind and you can get the answer. I promise you. But if you do not understand that concept, trust me, it can make you mad. It will make you cry for sure. Tears will roll down your checks, I'm telling you. Because there is no difference between inequality and absolute value. Like these are the questions that you have. What they would do in absolute value is that they'll just simply put it. This is an equality question. They'll put mod here. Is mod 1 by p greater than r by r square plus 2? Now you keep thinking what exactly is this mod? So there is no difference between absolute value and inequality topic. All the questions will be of inequality, but they'll come with the mod. And if you don't know the role of mod, you are screwed up. You are screwed up royally, I'm telling you. So please, from till Wednesday, you do inequality as much as you can. As much as you can. And don't worry, Rahul, it's not happening. It will happen for sure. You just have to spend some time. All of a sudden, it won't happen. But we have given a good amount of time to inequality, so you can't complain with me. From Thursday onward, start studying absolute value. Thursday and Friday, 2 days for absolute value is enough. And then we'll have a class on. So next Saturday, please be sure that we will set for 3 hours. So come prepared. If you come prepared, it will not be a problem at all. You love the class. And tomorrow we are doing question number 14 to question number 43. So question number 14 to 20 will take us time in SC rules. And question number 20 to 43 will be like 1 hour max. This is 1 hour max. Whatever time will take question number 14 to 20, we'll solve some questions also tomorrow based on parallelism. So whatever time it will take to come down to question number 14 to 20, uske baad it's all easy. Don't worry about after the question number 20. But please read. I hope you have read question number 1 to 13 very well. I'm telling you time and again because these are the concepts which will come into use when we start solving sentence correction. Because from next week onwards, we are solving sentence correction question. We can't simply be doing theory only. So from next weekend, next Sunday, we are 100% coming down to the question. So please read it again. SC rules, the document that I have given you, you are supposed to read once in a week for sure. And we are giving 1 month time to SC. So you cannot complain to me, Rahul, this is not happening, that is not happening. If it is not happening, it means you are not doing it. Simple logic. It's a straightforward logic. I will not believe that you are doing it and it's not happening. You just come to me, you call me anytime, message me anytime. I'm always available. You don't have to worry about it. But please, it is your job. Something that is your job that I can't do it for sure. I've told you to read once in a week, and I've not even told you that you take one time and sit with it forever. No. Just some days you read question number 1 to 10, some day you read 10 to 20. I promise you, read it 10 times, you will learn 10 times more things, new things. It's a very solid document. I can tell you, you don't have to go this side, that side, anywhere. Almost 90% of the concept is covered over there. The rest 10% depends on you. It doesn't depend on a book studies. Okay. So let's close the session for today. Let's meet tomorrow 10:30. Don't study anything in the morning for verbal, please. Whatever you study to by tonight. Don't study anything in the morning for verbal. Okay?
Okay, now.
Let's meet tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay.